Oftentimes in plank, what you may see people doing, or what you yourself may be doing, is excessively arching the lumbar spine. And you may have your hips high, or you may have your hips low. In either case, it may be less than desirable. Now, one way to practice eliminating this, rather than just engaging the abs to flatten the lumbar spine, my suggestion is to learn how to feel the lumbar spine, deliberately arch it and straighten it consciously while feeling it. So while standing in exercise, you could have your hips slightly back, and I'll explain why in a moment. But in standing position, you can concentrate on lifting your tailbone or lifting your sitting bones. At the same time, arch your lumbar spine, and then relax the action so your lumbar spine becomes slightly flat. Lift your sacrum and your sitting bones. Notice the sensation in your lumbar spine. Notice when it's bent backwards, and then relax. And then notice the sensation when you've relaxed the action. Notice the openness in the lumbar spine. So try that with the hips back, and then try it with the hips slightly forward. And again, notice the changes in sensation. Notice the sensation, the relationship between your hips, your feet, and your shoulders in this position. Notice it in this position, perhaps they are more in line. You can use a mirror as well. So here again, lift your sacrum, feel your lumbar spine arching, and then relax. Lift your sacrum, feel your spine arching, and then relax. And then try it with the hips forward. And again, notice the sensation. You may notice an open or a stretching feeling at the front of the hips and the quads. You may also notice that with respect to this position, in this position you can feel that your pelvis is further forward. You may also notice that your shoulders are behind your pelvis. In this position, your pelvis, shoulders, and feet are all in line. Now, next step is to do it in plank pose. So in plank pose, have your shoulders over your wrists, and I'll go over shoulder positioning later, but if you need to, you can adjust the position of your hands, perhaps slightly roll them out or in. Find a position that feels comfortable on your wrist, elbow, and shoulders. So for here, I'm going to start with my hips slightly high, and I'm going to lift my tailbone. You can bend your knees or keep them straight. I'm going through some knee difficulties right now, so I'm going to keep mine slightly bent. So arch your spine, so move your tailbone up and forward. Feel your lumbar spine arching, and then try and relax or remove the excessive arch. Lift, feel your lumbar spine arching, and then relax. And then rest if you need to, or go. See if you can find a position where your pelvis, shoulders, and heels are all in a relatively straight line. And if you have a mirror, that may be helpful to begin with. And do the same thing again without lifting your pelvis up like so. Lift your sacrum so your pelvis tilts forward, arch your lower back, and then relax. And feel the difference. Lift, arch, and then relax. And then if you need to rest, or let your pelvis sink down. And this is like this position here, arching your lower back and then relaxing. So here again, let your pelvis sink down, and here see if you can arch your lumbar back, your lumbar spine, and then remove the arch. Now the idea of practicing all those positions, and ideally you can do it slowly and smoothly, and if you get too tired, take a rest and then do it when you are rested. The idea in doing these is, rather than just engaging the abs and rather than just letting your lumbar spine arch, you can try and find the middle position, the position that feels comfortable both on the back of the lumbar spine and at the front of the body. So you don't want, I suggest not too tight at the front, not too arched at the back, just an optimum balance. And in addition, you can try lifting the hips a little bit or lowering it. See if you can feel the position where hips, shoulders, and pelvis are in line. So once you find that, then again, adjust the tilt of your pelvis so that you find a position where the back of your lumbar spine and the front feel comfortable. And if you can't feel that position, the more you practice these movements, first while standing and then in plank position, the better you can get at feeling your lumbar spine and recognizing, it's like, that position feels slightly more comfortable. Yeah, that feels slightly too arched. That feels slightly too tucked under. And here with it tucked under, I can feel a little bit of tension, excessive tension in my buttocks. They're just about right. And because you're focused on feeling rather than an external look, how it looks externally, You can fine tune the position, so as your body changes day to day, month to month, from practice to practice, you can fine tune the position so that your body always, or this part of your body at least, feels comfortable. To fine tune that awareness, what you could do, so initially I didn't talk much about the rib cage, I was just focused on movements of the pelvis. So once you've got a rough idea of moving the pelvis and feeling the change in your lumbar spine, then you can do the same exercise with the front ribs lifted. Try with your front ribs lifted. If you have enough awareness, try lifting your back ribs as well. So in an earlier video I said try to find a balance between opening the front of your rib cage and the back of your rib cage. So if you can only feel the front rib cage, focus on lifting the front. Try and create a balance there. Not too lifted, not too relaxed. So nicely open, and then again play with the tilt of your pelvis. And you can try that with your hips back, play with the tilt, see how it feels. Hips in the middle position, play with the tilt of your pelvis, see how it feels here, try to find an optimal position. Then with your hips forward, and again, tilt your pelvis back or forward. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult because of the tightness at the front of the hips, but play with it anyway just to see how it feels. See if you can find a position that doesn't feel too tight, is maximally as open as possible. If you can lift the back ribs as well, then do the same thing with your back ribs lifted. So lift the front ribs, lift the back ribs so that both the front and the back of your waist feels long, and adjust the tilt of your pelvis. In plank pose, do the same thing. So just go straight to the middle position where I think it is. That might be slightly high or low, but right about there, that doesn't feel too bad. I'm going to move my chest forward, and I'm also going to try and move my back ribs forward as well. And in addition, something I didn't talk about, I'll pull my ears away from my shoulders so that the back of my neck is long. And then from there, I'm going to move my sacrum forwards towards my head. Sacrum is right here between the buttocks. And then I'm going to move my sacrum towards my heels. So I'll do that slowly. So right now I'm trying to find maximum movement. So there I can feel my lower back feels uncomfortable. It's a little bit crunchy. And there's a little bit too much tension in my abs, or what I would interpret as too much tension. And just about here, there's still tension in my abs, but it feels a little bit more comfortable. I'll move my front ribs forward, my back ribs forward, because I forgot. I'll lengthen my spine, lengthen the back of my neck, and I'll try and keep that. Rather than trying to hold the pose as long as possible, see if you can adjust it to find the optimal position. Recognize that position, take a rest. For scapular awareness, move the shoulders forward so your shoulder blades spread, and then relax. Repeat that a few times. Forward, spread the inner edges of the shoulder blade, relax. And then do the opposite, move your shoulder blades back, move your shoulders back, shoulder blades together, relax. Shoulders back, shoulder blades together, and relax. And then to better simulate the plank position, do the same thing with your arms forward. You could lengthen the neck, open the front and back of your rib cage first, shoulders forwards, relax, shoulders forwards, relax, and then shoulders back, shoulder blades inwards, relax, shoulder blades inwards, relax. If you have trouble keeping the chest open, then the steps could be open the chest, spread the shoulder blades, relax everything. Open the chest, relax the shoulder, retract the shoulder blades, relax. So you could build up to it that way as well. And then when you're actually in position, so see if you can let the rib cage sink down so the shoulder blades retract, and then use your shoulders to lift your rib cage up so that they are protracted. So move rib cage down, rib cage up. And then try and find a position midway between the two that feels comfortable. Open the chest, open the front of the chest, back of the chest, adjust the tilt of the pelvis. And then repeat that a few times, rest when you need to, and then relax. One other action that is good to do with respect to the shoulders is actually rotating the arms. I would suggest spread the shoulder blades first, externally rotate the arms, then relax. Spread the shoulder blades, internally rotate the arms, and then relax. Then in plank pose, steps might be externally rotate the arms, so the front of the arms move outwards. Then lift the rib cage, then open the chest and the back of the ribs, then adjust the pelvis, and then relax and repeat a few times. You could also do rotate the arms inwards, lift the chest, lengthen the neck, open the chest, front and back of the rib cage, adjust the pelvis. hold that for a few breaths, or relax and repeat. Try both options, and what you may find, if you externally rotate the arms, it may feel nicer to open more the front of the chest. If you internally rotate the arms, you may find it feels like you need to bend your rib cage backwards. I would suggest, rather than judging one better than the other, work between both. Try to make both feel good. What do I mean by making your body feel good, and how do you learn to recognize it? One of the reasons that I teach a lot of these small movements, like isolating the pelvis and doing this, or isolating the rib cage and doing this, or isolating the shoulders with movements like this, is so that you can learn to feel all of those elements individually. You learn to recognize when the shoulders are, say, fully protracted and then relaxed. You learn to feel when the rib cage is fully lifted or relaxed. So you learn to feel the extremes, and then as you practice, particularly if you move slowly and smoothly, you learn to find sort of like a middle point where you're not too relaxed and not too tense, and that'll apply to more or less the whole body. So with doing plank, you'll learn to feel when your arms have just the right amount of tension, and what you're looking for is not excessive tension or any particular. You may find sometimes you get a solid band of tension, like your muscles are locked in place, or a muscle is locked in place, so something's not quite right. So you need to activate something else so that you're distributing the tension throughout your body. You may find that there's slackness in a body part or a lack of feeling, so you create some space so that the connective tissue has tension, and that again can help to distribute the stress throughout the body. So if you're not sure about feeling your body or how to feel it, practice moving. Put your awareness on the part that you're moving so that you can recognize the changes in sensation that, say, accompany an opening up or creating of space, and the sensation that accompanies a relaxed, sinking down feeling. One other thing that may be important is if you're holding the pose, how do you stay aware of all of those things at once? I would suggest not focusing on them all at once, but going through a checklist. So it might look like you're in plank pose. And you can do this in time with your inhales and exhales. So inhale, externally rotate the arms, exhale, hold. Inhale, protract the shoulder blades, exhale, hold. Inhale, open the chest, exhale, hold. Inhale, adjust the pelvis, exhale, hold, and then repeat. Inhale, focus on the rotation of the arms, exhale, hold. Inhale, focus on the amount of protraction, retraction of the shoulder blades, exhale, hold. Inhale, open the front and back of the chest, exhale, hold. Inhale, adjust the tilt of the pelvis, exhale, hold. One other thing I forgot, inhale, adjust the length, the amount that the neck is long, exhale, hold. If you can't remember all of that, just focus on a few things at once. Inhale, shoulders, rib cage, exhale, hold. Inhale, shoulders, rib cage, exhale, hold. At the neck. Inhale, shoulders, rib cage, neck, exhale, hold. Inhale, shoulders, rib cage, neck, exhale, hold. That would be my recommendation for working towards plank pose. Hope that was helpful. Namaste.